everyone, we're the Movie Busters, changing a bit the scenery here, trying something new, I guess. As you all know, we've started watching Game of Thrones again, and we reviewed the first season, and we watched the second season, and wanted to do another video, because...
We can't help it. First of all, we have promised to...
Yeah, we promised, that's
talk about every season that we finish watch.
Yeah.
And I think last night when we finished, there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
And let's start.
So, at the first couple of minutes, it won't be spoilers, and then we're going to get into more of the story arcs. So there will be a spoiler warning before that. So, what I thought about the season.
Talk about in the general way.
Yeah,
and
in a general way.
Specifics.
I think it's a bit of a smaller season than the first season, in my opinion. The story progresses a little bit slower, but it doesn't take from anything. I think it's done beautifully. All of the story arcs, all of them, I'm not joking, every single one of the stories that includes any one of the characters is written to perfection. And I always remember when we watched, I was like, why did they cut away from this story? I want to see more of it. But then they cut to a different story, and I'm like, oh, but that's a good story as well. I want to see what happens here.
I don't know how they make it, but every single story is more interesting than the last one.
Yeah.
You don't say, oh, this is they stop this and go to another angle of the story, and you said, what I missed. No, it's continue exactly where it stopped, and you immediately connect to it, and you enjoy it. I don't know more or less, but for my opinion, perfect editing, perfect joy from all the scenes, and I don't know how they made it. It's the second season, and it's still super interesting. I don't know how it's still. I thought after the first season it would be a little bit.
Because the first season was such a shock for us, because we watched Game of Thrones
years ago.
Yeah, you watched the first season like 11 years ago, and the second season like 10 years ago. So it's a really long time. So I always thought that, well, the first season is all everybody knows and remembers the first season. I was a bit skeptical
if
for
can
watching the
keep
second season.
the tension. Also, in all of the season, I think it's a rare thing.
Yeah, and they've done something really amazing. As I've said, we are currently watching a lot of different shows as well. There is the House of Dragon and Endor and the Lord of the Rings show, the Rings of Power, and see on Apple. So we're watching a lot of shows, and I have to tell you, just so you know how amazing this show is, and especially the second season that we're currently viewing. If you take any story arc whatsoever from this season, I'm not joking, I think it's better than the main stories of each of the other shows that I just mentioned. The connection that I have with every character here is so deep, and I'm really scared of what will happen next. And I'm always in shock when something amazing or unexpected happens.
Listen, every chapter is at least an hour.
Yeah, but it moves like this.
It moves so fast, and when it finished, I said, "What? Put the next one."
Exactly.
It's maybe late at night, but I have to watch and see what happened next. I can't wait. I have all the season in my hand, but I can't wait. I think this is the test.
The what?
The event, the test itself.
Okay.
The series is very good that you can wait.
You can't stop watching.
Wait until the next chapter.
And you're not bored for a single second.
No. I think that all the characters are involved.
I'm always on the edge of my seat when I'm watching this.
Everything is involved. The treachery and the betrayed are getting bigger and stronger, and it's getting more complicated. every second.
Yeah.
You think something's gonna solved, but no, it's complicated.
No.
It's continuous. It's brutal.
Oh, it's
It's
really
very-
brutal.
it's
It's
very-
even it's more gruesome than the first season.
Yeah.
There's less sex scenes in this season, which I really like because it has a lot of it has like more time to develop the characters and stories, and I mean, what can I say? This is a really amazing season, and if you haven't watched it, well, you should watch Game of Thrones either way, and the second season is even better in my opinion. So now we're gonna talk a bit about spoilers.
What's happened
with each
in
character
general,
and their journey.
Yep.
So we wanna. What's the
So
first?
the first thing I think about is the story of Tyrion. What's happened to him in King's Landing?
I think before we start talking about his story, I think he's sort of the main character for me in this show. He's the main spotlight for me. He has like the biggest change from the first season.
I think they discover him and his potential. I think in the beginning they didn't know which character will be
a fan
interesting,
favorite.
more interesting, and I think they discover his ability to play so well.
Wow.
So
Peter
so,
Dinklage is
so
amazing.
He's so convinced us in his game, in all this acting. I think they gave him a lot of spotlight, and
Much deserved one as well.
Deserved in justice, of course, because he's a hell of a player, hell of an actor, and I enjoy to watch him every moment.
Yeah. So
And it's not just his mind-blowing
performance.
but also the
Character itself
character
is
itself. Exactly.
really cunning, and it's such a huge contrast. Him being Hand of the King this season, it's a huge contrast to Ned Stark being
Ned
Hand of the
Stark
King.
was a soldier.
He was a soldier, and
It doesn't like the all the politician side of
yeah,
the,
he
of
was
the
he was a
being
man
right
of his
the king.
a man of honor. And a man of his word, and it's such a huge contrast.
It's not
from
enough
Ned Stark.
when you
No.
have to be right of the king.
And he does something in this season which is brilliant, and I really loved it when he tells all of the other advisors of the king of the small council, whether it was Littlefinger, Varys, and Grand Maester Pycelle, he tells them that he wants to send Cersei's
This is
daughter.
the first. I think this is the first test for him to know where we stand, who is with him, and
who is loyal and who is
loyal with Cersei or
loyal
other,
to someone else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he tells every one of them a different plan that he had to marry some of the Cersei daughters to one of the princes in the realm.
Whether it was Theon or Robin Arryn or from
And
Dawn.
every one of them swear they didn't tell anyone.
But he knew from...
And he knew when his sister's gone mad, he's going to do who's not loyal and who tell her.
And it was such an amazing scene and progression of story that I really loved.
And think about it, all the courage that he had. He came to Joffrey and slapped him.
Yeah, he does some pretty, not many people would have acted the same, which I really adore. So I think Tyrion for me is like the beacon, a huge beacon of this
He's
season.
one of the stars of this.
In this season,
this season, of course. In the next, we will have to wait and watch.
Yeah.
So it's a very long journey with the other series.
That was the main story for me in this season. There are a lot of other stories. We're gonna talk a bit on them. Don't want to make it a super long video.
Yeah.
Like
so
the first
of course we have Joffrey here.
Joffrey is getting crazier and crazier.
He's a child with
all the power.
All the power doesn't have
and
any
I think
border.
it's something Tyrion tells to Cersei. He tells her when you put a crown upon a dog, you can't put it on a leash afterwards, or something like that.
Exactly.
And it's it's so true. Like if you don't.
Cersei also understands that she cannot
control him. No.
He's
on the
out
loose.
of leash.
He's on the loose.
Yeah.
And when you said Cersei right now, I remember I love that Cersei has both sides of her coin in this season.
Yeah, you suddenly watch our soft side, but soft side, like when the snake
cold
is
soft.
watching you and
Yeah.
is playing nice, and
Yeah,
in a
it's,
minute it bites
it's
you.
a cold soft. Like she cares a little bit about Sansa and tells her that marrying a king isn't always
Maybe she saw itself at Sansa when she was
when
young.
she was married with Robert,
Yeah.
very young, but she's still pretty evil and
So what we
maybe
have more in this
Season.
Yeah, this season. Stannis, and
yeah,
with
Stannis
the-
is a new character in this season, and he has a big role.
yeah, he has a huge army, of course, and he wants
To
conquer
reclaim his,
King's Landing, and he also has a witch.
yeah, Melisandre with the Lord of Light.
Yeah, of course they have killed
They killed Renly with
the
a
demon or
shadow.
something. I don't know.
And when they killed her, you have Brienne, who is combining forces with Catelyn, so she swears her allegiance to her.
Yeah.
And then you
because
see
she understands if they catch her in the tent with the dead
with
king,
Renly, they will kill
they kills her
her
and-
because nobody would think Catelyn Stark.
Nobody believes. Our dogs are
Yeah,
getting
dogs
mad.
are getting crazy when we talk
Yeah.
about Game of Thrones. They pretty love
They
it
like
with all the horses and dogs out there. But yeah, the Catelyn story, the
Catelyn, it's I think
mother
Is
in
a
this
mother,
season.
and she's a little bit betrayed on
And
her,
she's
her
tired.
son. Yeah,
She's
betrayed a
tired
little
of
bit
all of
on
this.
on comfort.
Yeah, she doesn't want the war anymore. She
Yeah.
just want her. She just wants her daughters back. She doesn't know about Arya and that she's not in King's Landing,
Yeah.
but she thinks
They
both
doesn't
of them.
know exactly where are the daughter.
They know Sansa is in King's Landing, and
Yeah.
they think Arya is as well because
Yeah.
that's what the Lannisters say. And this story connects with Arya's arc that we're gonna talk in a bit. And then what was I was about to say that this also connects with the story that Catelyn just wants to end this war because of what happens in Winterfell as well.
Yeah.
Theon betrays the Stark, and he
Yes, but before we go to Tyrion, we have Rob fall in love with a commoner.
a medicine woman,
Not the
not the one that
the-
he.
used to be married because they have
No, he wasn't married to her, but he was obliged to marry her
promise.
after the war.
engaged to him by the promise to let him
Pass
cross
through the,
the river.
Yeah, to
Plus
the
the-
bridge there
yeah.
on with the pikes.
Okay, what else we have?
So, what you said right now, when you connect Catelyn's story, she wants to end and go to Winterfell because she wants to look after her little boys as well.
She
Brennan,
think it's gonna be maybe more simple. When
if she releases
Jamie,
then they might.
maybe all the the wanting for revenge maybe will stop.
Yeah, and maybe if she lets Jamie go, maybe Jamie will try and convince Cersei or Tywin to let go of Sansa.
She's know that Jamie is very strong, also in the politics. He is a very good warrior, of course, but
He is the best swordsman in Westeros,
yeah, but he also knows politics.
and he is the brother.
He's a
of
Lannister.
He's a Lannister. He's the brother of Cersei and the son of Tywin as well. And it's something that I really like, seeing some parenthood in this season from Catelyn, and seeing someone that is really tired of all this politics and war and just wants to, like bring the family back together after being broken for a whole season,
Yeah.
2 seasons right now. So I really liked it. And then we have the Theon betraying the Starks when he captures Winterfell and
Kills innocent boys.
butchers a lot of people there, and
And eventually his people betrayed him, and
because they want it over, they just want to go back to the pikes.
he wants to I don't know, to
He wants to show his father that
it's what he wants to be a man that he is not.
Yeah, because his father gave him to the Starks when he was young, so he wants to prove that to his father that he is his heir, and he wants to prove him that he's a man and he's a king worthy, a lord worthy person, not like a whiny kid that he most of the time is. So I really like that story as well. And now Bran is going to the north after Winterfell is ravaged, and there are a lot of stories here. I'm not joking, guys.
Yeah, of course. Next, I think it will be Ion Lannister.
Who? Tywin.
Tywin, sorry.
Ian
no, Tywin. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Tywin Lannister, of course, is the head of the Lannisters campaign.
I just
is
love
the general.
Charles Dance.
Yes,
Wow.
of course. And Arya is servants.
Yeah, she's his
She's given
servant
give
to
him
his
his
season.
wine, his food, and he doesn't. He started to think she
He
kept
starts to
secret
understand there's something
because
is weird.
she's know how to say not
My lady
not
and
me
not
lady,
me lady.
my lady,
And she knows how to read, and she knows about history.
yeah, it's kind of it's
of
not rare. It's
conquerors.
impossible to a commoner.
Yeah, commoners back then didn't know, and he starts to understand something, but he doesn't really interested in it because he has the war on his mind. So
Yeah,
if he didn't have the war on his mind, then probably we would have guessed that something is wrong there, and it connects to Arya's story, which is amazing. I remember watching it for the first time all those years ago, and I thought always that Arya's story was the weakest.
no.
But I think it's one of the best. I don't know why something changed after the long break of finishing all of Game of Thrones before. I really love Arya's story.
Of course, there is a story Arya with the.
There will be in the later
Yes.
seasons, but she
With the-
meets
with the-
Jaqen.
He's a kind of I don't know, sorceress. I don't know what he exactly.
Something is weird there that we're
He's changed
not
faces,
know-
changed images.
we don't know right now.
He give her 3 wishes like a goldfish.
Yeah, you have 3 names to give me, and I will kill them, and he does kill them, and it's something really interesting, and I love the way he talks. A girl has many wishes.
Yeah.
A girl wants me to kill a man, but doesn't want, and I don't give
The
her
girls
time.
need to give me a name.
Yeah,
I
and
need-
I love his dialect here.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
his dialogue here. It's something really different and interesting, and I do love her story and his character, Jaqen, and I do hope he comes back in the later seasons because I don't really remember. And we have, of course, Daenerys.
And then dragons. It's very interesting.
And really interesting what happens there in Qarth. It's something different that we're used to get.
It's everyone betrayed everyone.
Yeah.
All of the 13
13
mercenaries. I don't know what they are.
merchants, like the in Qarth there's like 13 members that rule Qarth together, and she meets someone who vouches for her to be in the city. He's Zero Daxos, I think his name is, and he's like
He promised to marry her and give her half a treasure to build
and
the.
wow, he plays
ships and
amazingly. I think her whole story there is really good. I think Daenerys' story is even better than I remembered it.
Yeah.
The progression of it is really good, and I love the.
This is
pacing
the
of it as well.
fantasy section of
Yeah,
the
there's
story.
like 2 fantasy
the Jon Snow.
section. The Jon Snow and Daenerys are
Daenerys.
like the really big on fantasy.
Of course,
Less on politics. There is politics. In Jon, there's not really many politics. It's like really fantasy and survival.
There
but-
is fantasy also with Hudo and the boy. With
yeah,
the 2 walls
with
and the dreams
the
and
3
everything.
ravens and everything. But I really love Daenerys' story in this season, and I loved everything. And I think her last episode was perfection.
Yeah.
Everything that happens there when she goes to the it's the house of something with the wizards. I forgot its name. With the sorcerer there,
Yeah.
and she frees her
There's no
dragons.
enters to the temple.
Yeah, and it's
And they
it's really all magic there, and,
Yeah.
and I really loved it. And then
how she released herself is amazing.
and then she goes to Zero, and she takes his key to open his vault, and then she sees that he promised her nothing.
there is nothing
Actually,
in the vault.
there's nothing
The
there.
vault is empty.
He's not really
And
that
she's
rich.
give him a
And she
horrible
gives him-
punishment.
Wow, the punishment is so horrible when you think about it. It's really affected me. And she locks him there with her maid that betrayed her as well. Just they lock them in a vault that has nothing there. It's really it's terrible when you think about it. It's a terrible punishment. But I loved it. It was so powerful. And there's
This is not the end. There is
no.
more.
There's one more story.
Two
arc.
more.
No, technically
The war
one.
itself. The war.
Oh yeah, the war. Well, we're not gonna talk about the war. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, we don't tell you anything about the war. The war is.
Wow, the war that
It's not a huge war.
no, it's not a huge war like Helm's
But
Deep or
it's a
something
war.
like that, but
It's
it's,
a war.
really
It's
brutal.
worth watching.
Yeah,
if you want to know how it's end, you have to watch.
Yeah, and Jon Snow, who I don't think anyone dislikes Jon Snow.
Go to explore the
wildlings and the Beyond the Walls.
What's happening beyond the wall? It's a lot of stories and ghost stories, whatever.
It's a really exciting story, and you don't know where it will go and where it does go, and a lot of things happen there that I really love. I don't want to spoil anything, but the last shot of this season is amazing.
Tell you a lot
and
about
I don't
what's going to happen.
I know it's a spoiler section, but still, even if you watch it and you haven't watched the show, if you watched it, then you know what we're talking about. Yeah. If not, then you should definitely watch it. But the last section of the show, like the last scene
if you
want
to watch something very real, very good, not like most of the series that we watched lately, something that I think it's the best, one of the best.
No, I think it's
series
the best
ever.
I think as television, it's the best television show I've ever seen. It's combined
fantasy
with politics,
treasury,
drama, everything.
Everything you want.
It has everything.
Everything.
It's brutal. It has everything.
So the second season, it's no less than the first season.
I think it's even better.
I don't know better, but I think it's also very, very good and very interesting. Very recommended to watch it.
You wanna rate the second season from 1 to 10 or just?
Yes, of course. I give 10 to the first. I will give 10 to the second, and I don't give
10s easily.
10s easily, as you think. So wait
10
for
as
us.
well.
Wait for us.
There will be a third season. It might take a bit longer because we have a lot of stuff to do, and we're going again to London in the next couple of weeks. So it will take a little bit time until the third video of the third season. So thank you very much for watching.
Look how many minutes?
Yeah, 542 minutes for the second
Amazing.
season. And I felt like something was missing. Like it wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough.
So thank you guys for watching, and as always, we are the Movie Busters, and until next time, see ya.